Early reading is an area of curriculum development that inspires passion and support for all Lindbergh learners. This information originally was presented live as a curriculum update during the November 12th Board of Education meeting. Curriculum updates are quarterly presentations that are designed to inform parents and the community about instructional changes in Lindbergh schools. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about this important topic. Let's begin. The first question we want to answer today is, why are we on this journey? Our goal is to ensure that we are meeting the individual needs of all students because we share a common goal with our families, a goal that results in students who are successful, motivated, and engaged readers. Over the last few years, we've identified gaps in our instructional process, specifically in the area of phonics instruction. This requires that we provide direct instruction and support the transfer of those skills into reading practice. The National Reading Panel has identified 5 pillars of reading: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. In the past, we have emphasized comprehension as the ultimate outcome for reading, ensuring that students are reading for meaning. By doing that, we have paid too little attention to decoding skills, the ability for students to hear sounds and understand sound-symbol relationships. This skill is essential to support a well-rounded reader who both enjoys the process and the outcome of reading. In 2016, state law brought to our attention the concerns and misconceptions regarding students with dyslexia. Prior to and through the legislative process, our reading specialists began their own learning journey with a book study that ultimately has influenced our work. Simultaneously, we began to look at how we could better support students whose decoding was impeding their reading skill development. This occurred through accommodations such as Learning Alley, which reads text to students, allowing them to build comprehension while supporting decoding skill development. In addition, the Barton system was implemented in a few cases to provide a scripted instructional plan for students. Both of these tools allowed us to gauge the right fit for individual student support while we continue to plan for next steps. During the 2017-18 school year, the State Dyslexia Task Force was developing a tool to support districts in their work. At the same time, Lindbergh began designing our own dyslexia manual, outlining specific accommodations for students suspected of dyslexia. With the help of both parents and teacher experts, we developed levels of interventions for students who needed additional instruction as well. It was also during this year that a committee of reading specialists, administrators, and teachers reviewed screening tools with the intent of finding a tool that would be comprehensive and provide data to help us in decision-making for students. Screening tools are district-based decisions, and ultimately the one Lindbergh selected is comprehensive yet efficient, allowing us to get significant information on student risk factors without significant loss of instructional time. Because our tool is nationally normed, it has high reliability and validity. In 2018, we also expanded our reading specialist training to include Orton-Gillingham multisensory methodologies. These are strategies that engage multiple parts of the brain by having students practice learning through sight, sound, and physical movement to build understanding. This diversity of activities allows for flexibility in the way students learn. Our journey continued as we entered the 2018-19 school year. We hired a full-time literacy coordinator, a position that had not been in place for 7 years. Reinstating the literacy coordinator position was essential in leading the implementation of student screening and instructional enhancements. Our screener, FastBridge, provided us information on student risk levels. Those at risk on the screener were given the Kilpatrick Phonemic Awareness Diagnostic, which allowed us an opportunity to gather even more information on individual students. During this school year, the remaining reading specialists in grades K through 12 became specialized in multisensory Orton-Gillingham strategies to support needed interventions for struggling students. In addition, Lindbergh Literacy Coordinator Dr. Sarah Volter led a year-long phonics impact study in kindergarten and first grades, where 5 different curriculum materials were implemented and studied. This study was an important step in the right direction, addressing concerns from our families about the viability of options for phonics instruction. We are grateful to our excellent teachers who are open to learning about and implementing various resources and providing feedback on the impact within their classrooms. At the conclusion of last year, we partnered with Hanover, a national research firm. We evaluated Hanover's findings, which included reviews of curriculum materials and comprehensive teacher surveys, in addition to our own reading screening data and feedback from kindergarten and first grade students. As a result, the Sunday system was selected to provide phonics instruction for all primary age students beginning in the 2019-20 school year. The Sunday system provides Tier 1, or classroom-based, instruction, but it also aligns with our newly adopted Orton-Gillingham intervention strategies, which are referred to as Tier 2. The alignment of these resources supports student understanding through common instructional strategies and vocabulary. Sunday system is an evidence-based, multi-sensory program that aligns with what is being defined as structured literacy instruction. Through the impact study, it was also determined that Heggerty, a program to support phonemic awareness, which is the ability to hear sounds and words, would also be included in all kindergarten and first grade classrooms. While the impact study originated with kindergarten and first grades, it was expanded to second grade implementation as a result of input from our Teaching and Learning Board Advisory and our second grade teachers. So far this year, further work has occurred to support both classroom and intervention instruction. At the classroom level, all K through second grade teachers, ELL teachers, reading specialists, and coaches had multi-day training on the research, what we fondly call the why of phonics instruction, and the Sunday materials that were selected for implementation. Training all of these staff allows us to align the work we do with our youngest learners across buildings and across classrooms to provide kids with consistency. The district has also hired instructional design coaches at each school to provide ongoing training, feedback, and support for classroom teachers. To continue to support intervention, elementary reading specialists expanded the diagnostic tool used to more deeply assess those students identified at risk. Between coaches and reading specialists, we currently have one person in each building attending letters training, an in-depth training that further explores the early literacy development of students. Finally, as we continue work this year, our principals, coaches, and literacy coordinator are participating in literacy learning walks in our buildings. These are purposeful classroom visits that allow us to identify current strengths and needs of implementation in order to inform the next steps of training. This slide shows how our young readers have improved from spring 2018-19 to fall 2019-20 screenings. As we've transitioned from a year of studying phonics programs and moved to full classroom implementation, we are already seeing a decrease in students who are defined as at risk. As you look at this chart, you'll see last year's spring data in column 2. Column 3 shows you the same students and their risk levels as they moved up a grade and were rescreened in the fall. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education identifies students at risk of dyslexia as anyone who scores lower than 30% of the population. Since Lindbergh's screener has national norms, it provides a comprehensive view of student risk. You'll notice as last year's kindergartners moved into first grade, the numbers of students at risk decreased by over 17 percentage points. A similar pattern of decreased risk is seen in the current second and third graders. It is worth noting that this year's third graders, the group who has seen the lowest decrease in risk, was not part of last year's impact study. With the promising implementation of Sunday, we anticipate that all of this data will continue to show decreased numbers of students at risk. FastBridge data screens early reading and discrete skills, but it is not our only tool for measuring reading success. We look at students' on-grade level reading scores through other measures. The only other nationally normed assessment where all students are tested is the ACT, and that data clearly shows the strength of Lindbergh students as readers. The highest of all of our subtest scores on the ACT is reading. Expanding practices which allow us to more definitively meet the diverse needs of students requires time and significant effort. We are continuing our work in support of phonics instruction. Looking ahead, professional learning will specifically support teachers in grades 3 through 5. Teachers in grades K2 will continue to have follow-up sessions to expand on the professional learning they received this summer. In addition, more reading specialists and coaches will participate in the next letters cohort, and our district literacy coordinator will complete training with the state to become a certified trainer for all of our Lindbergh teachers. This will allow us to have ongoing support in the area of phonics instruction. Ultimately, our goal with all of this work is to expand our toolbox of classroom techniques and supports for our students. As a district, we've identified the need to personalize learning for our students. Phonics instruction gives us a tool to do that, but it is not the only tool. Students need to love reading, to pick up books for learning and enjoyment, and for that reason, we need strategies that engage our learners in various ways based on their individual skill sets. In the end, our student experience in early literacy should not be either phonics or comprehension. It should be a combination of both, because working with students is an art as our teachers learn the strengths and needs of each of the individual students in their classroom. We are all here for the same reason, to help students be successful, and we are committed to this work. As we continue in this journey, we will continue to monitor student learning to adjust and support our students as readers. Thank you.